what I want to cover real quickly before is the text conventions that I'm going over in this presentation. If you see blue in the presentation, that means those are hyperlinks to further documentation, resources, examples, and in the version of the presentation that you might find accompanying the video, you can actually click on those to actually access those resources. Code will be shown in a fixed space font, and if you see code that's bold and gray, that means it's older code and it's either been deprecated or obsoleted, or it's just code that I recommend you should avoid or transition away from. If you see orange code, that means that it's code that you can use, but you really should only use for transitional purposes. That is, you may need it for compatibility with older browsers, but it's not new, really. It's just a tighter version of what you should be using to ease your transition. Finally, when you see code that's bold and fuchsia, that's new code. That's either new HTML5 code or new techniques reusing markup that you already know how to use. Now, there's two basics of HTML5 that I'm going to cover for you, and it's going to really empower you to get started immediately. The first is the doc type. Now, if you've been using HTML4 for any amount of time, you know that at the top of all your documents, you have something that looks like this. Here we have an XHTML 1.0 strict doc type, and until HTML5, this really was, for all practical reasons, one of the best doc types you could use in all your web documents that you publish. Look at all that cryptic information. What does that all mean? Well, it comes from the SGML heritage of HTML. And frankly, I've never memorized it. I always copy and paste it or start from templates myself when I type this in. And I know that I can pick it apart if I have to, but I usually don't bother. In HTML5, it's a new doc type. They've simplified this down to simply less than, exclamation, doc type, HTML, greater than. That's it. It's so short and simple, you can just type it in. The second bit of HTML5 that I want to cover for you is the improvements to the meta charset. One of the big changes that's been happening over the past 10 years is from using various different character sets on the web, we've all been converging on one that's called UTF-8. And so for the most part, we've been publishing documents with this little directive at the top called meta HTTP equiv that has a content type, etc., etc. But the key piece here that we're really meaning to express to the browser, to the server, is charset equals UTF-8. Well, the developers of HTML5 recognized this and also did a bunch of tests, so they've simplified this down to just meta charset equals UTF-8. And that's, again, something that's so short that you can remember it and even just type it off the top of your head. Best part of this, it works in all existing browsers that are popular on the web today. So thanks to the way that they parse the old meta equiv, this new meta charset actually works, and we can start using it. Why don't we go ahead and I'll show you exactly how easy this is. I'm going to go to my source view here, little text document, and this is so simple that just type it in, doc type HTML, meta charset equals, quote, UTF-8, end quote. Done, right? And I promise you, go ahead and just try typing it yourself. You won't even need to start a new document, new template document. You type it again, and after you basically type this a few times, and I know it sounds kind of silly, but after you typed it, let's say 10 times, your muscle memory will have picked it up to the point where you can just type it in off the top of your head to any new document. And that to me is really powerful, because you can basically just start brand new blank text document on any computer, right? And just start typing HTML5, because you've memorized that you can type exclamation point doc type HTML meta charset equals UTF-8. And that's it.